CTV3 News. 2 buses go up in flames in the village of Carmelita. The cops suspect arson. New PetVille water project jumps into phase 2. We take you to the project site. And believes the territorial volunteers to maintain presence at the forward operating base. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, July 4th, 2023.
Special guest in the audience tonight, legendary record executive, Mr. Clive Davis.
My voice is gone.
What?
You start the show tonight. No talking back. I'm your mother.
There's a boy I know. He's the one I dream of.
What's your name again?
Whitney Elizabeth Houston.
Wake up! It's on. It's on. Listen. How will I know if he really loves me?
My dream, sing what I want to sing, be how I want to be.
I say a prayer with every heartbeat.
Reach as big an audience as I can.
Common criticism of you, your music isn't black enough.
Look, I don't know how to sing black, and I don't know how to sing white either. I know how to sing.
I might have just heard the greatest voice of her generation.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's got to have a hook.
The hook?
Yeah.
I'll give it a hook.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have him on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3. They're on fire! Chiladas. Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat. From Snackers, done right, done here.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Police are investigating a report in Carmelita village in relation of 2 buses that were seen on fire early this morning. While the details remain grim, reports suggest the fire was an act of arson. Who did it? The investigation intends to find out. Our mobile news team traveled to the village to find out more and have prepared the following report. Elmer Cornejo has the story.
At least 2 buses went up in flames around 4 this morning in the village of Carmelita, east of Orange Walk town. Police were the first to respond to the report, and thereafter the firefighters arrived and quickly sprung into action, dousing the fire almost immediately. After making checks and verifying the information, police confirmed the buses belonged to 48-year-old Noel Codd, owner of Northern Transit Bus Company. Codd told the cops that both buses had been parked for almost 6 weeks since they were experiencing mechanical failures. Tonight, suggestions are that both vehicles were set on fire, so police could be looking at arson which is a crime. Police now have the task of verifying if indeed the buses were ignited intentionally, and if they were, cops also need to find a culprit or culprits, which could prove to be a bit difficult, since the buses were parked inside a fenced yard and in an area where neighbors live at a distance. While one bus was completely destroyed, the second sustained partial damages. The financial loss is unknown at this time. We tried getting comment from the bus line owner, but he respectfully declined an interview. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
Officers continued their investigations into this latest fire report. In July of 2021, the Belize Water Services Limited (BWSL) and government officials broke ground for the new PetVille water project to secure potable water for the residents in the area. That project was valued at over $800,000 and made possible through a collaboration between GOB and BWS. In late 2022, Phase 1 of the project was completed with the installation of potable water to over 30 residents in the area, with the prospects of many more. As expansion in the area continues, Phase 2 of the project has officially been launched, which will see construction of 2 additional water wells in the area, which will also serve as a backup for the Orange Walk water system. Today, our news team visited the project site where work is already underway and spoke to Executive Chairman of BWS, Cornelio Acosta, who told us more about the development and its expected benefits to residents of PetVille and Orange Walk on a whole.
We had done an expansion here in PetVille. We've seen the growth from the district moving towards this side. Along with that, we also have a climate resiliency plan. And I have identified areas, that our service areas, that really rely on a single source of water. Orange Walk is one of them. Essentially, we rely on our Clark Street wells, and if, God forbid, anything were to happen to one of these wells, production would decrease. We would see reduction of pressure, some water shortages. So to prevent that or preempt that, we found the need to put additional wells in place. So we're working along with MRT, digging two additional wells here. And with that, we hope to be able to serve as a backup system for Orange Walk. Of course, in the near future, we're planning to put a pumping station, also a storage facilities. And we're starting with Orange Walk. We're looking at other areas such as PG, Corozal, Benque Viejo that rely on a single source for water production and water distribution. So essentially that is what we're doing.
In addition to securing reliable running water to residents of this area, the project, according to Acosta, is part of the company's climate resiliency plan for the entire Orange Walk district.
With the current system that we have, whatever we are producing is going right into distribution. This will serve as an additional buffer for us. So if there's a huge expansion in Orange Walk, we are certain to have that backup and confidence to say, you know what, we could meet that demand. Again, with storage, there's no storage needs here. If there were a storm or a hurricane, there would be some issues in getting back service. But if you have storage capacity, then it allows you some time to recover. What is new with this system here or this project is that we managed to acquire a new ground penetrating radar system, which allows us to look at water sources about 3,000 feet underground. It's something new. We just tested it out, and initially we found exact water wherever we put it. So that is one of the new innovations that has come along with BWS. Along with that shows you the type of soil formation, the type of water, if it's fresh water, salt water. So it's a real benefit for the entire country acquiring this equipment. And we're seeing the fruits of it here at PetVille. It goes along with climate change and climate change resiliency. We've seen that, for example, in Belmopan, where the river levels have decreased, we've seen some issues in acquiring, and we've adjusted on how to get water there. In Punta Gorda, for example, where one of our wells has reduced the production capacity. So we've seen the need to make certain changes. We want to preempt that. We want to ensure that Orange Walk and other areas that we serve do not fall in these pitfalls or in these issues. So this, again, would serve the entire community of PetVille. Hopefully, in the near future, we could expand maybe to some additional villages or other outskirt areas of Orange Walk.
The water project, according to chairman of the Orange Walk Central Executive, Jaime Bersenio, falls directly in line with Plan Belize, which seeks to expand this area to house more Orange Walkenians.
This area is an important part of Plan Belize's commitment to the Belize people, particularly the people of Orange Walk Central. This area falls is in the constituency of Honorable John Bersenio, who's the area representative for Orange Walk Central, as well as the Prime Minister. So this area has been designated, land had been acquired, he has been acquiring some land that has been distributed and is being distributed to residents from Orange Walk Central. But without the infrastructure, people will not be able to move in. So this what is going on right now, what we're seeing behind us is a very important part of making Plan Belize a reality, which is providing housing, providing a good living for the people of Belize, and in this case, the people of Orange Walk Central. Without water, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you try living without water. You might be able to live without electricity. You light up your candle and everything and live by it. But without water, there's really nothing that you can do. So this, more than anything else, is probably the most important aspect of allowing being people able to live in this area and to see this area of PetVille develop. Our vision is that this will form an integral part of Orange Walk Central, or of Orange Walk Town, and the town can now start expanding across the river. As you know, Orange Walk the town has never expanded across the river. It's always just on the other side. But now I think it's high time now for Orange Walk Town to be able to come over this side where there's still a lot of land available. And it's close to the town, close to the rest of the town. It's probably closer than San Francisco, Uniontown, Louisiana, and those areas, extremely close. Is the highway between Orange Walk and 77 will be paved this year. There's the local sixth form is right in the area. So there's a lot of infrastructure, a lot of things going on that will make this area, I think, very very livable for the people of Orange Walk Central and Orange Walk Town.
This project is expected to be completed in 12 months. The Belize Territorial Volunteers today issued a release announcing its decision to take up the mantle of maintaining a presence at the abandoned forward operating base at the mouth of the Sarsstoon. This decision, according to the release, was taken as it has been almost a year that the military have not been occupying the base. We note that back in July of 2022, it was announced that the 24-hour military presence at the FOB would be reduced to the period 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to accommodate repairs at the base. Since then, however, the BTV notes that the 24-hour patrol has not been reinstated and the area is almost never maintained by military presence. Today, the media spoke to leader of the BTV, Will Mejia, who explained the decision taken, which he says is much needed.
Press release basically stated that the Belize Territorial Volunteers will be occupying the forward operating base to establish a presence on the Sarsstoon River. For going on a year now, the base has been basically abandoned in our opinion. We, the volunteers, have actually reached out to the military to ask if they needed our assistance, as we have experience in helping to build seawalls and control erosion. They have not basically have not responded, and the base has been abandoned. We believe that the base it's very important for the base to be there and for Belizeans to be there and to establish a presence on the Sarsstoon. The Guatemalans have built a bigger base on their side. They have increased their presence on the river, and at the same time, they have started to harass even the BDF going up the river. So it's very important for us to really let the world know, let the Guatemalans know that we have not given up the river, nor the Sarsstoon Islands, and we need to have a presence there. The base actually, as a result of the base being there are more fish in the area, there are more marine wildlife, there's more wildlife. So social, environmental, and economic benefit comes as a result of the BDF being at the forward operating base. So it's very important that they're there. And if they're not there, then the Belize Territorial Volunteers, we will occupy the base and establish a presence there so that the world could see that we do have a presence on the Sarsstoon.
The BTV, according to Mejia, will maintain presence in the area until the military returns to its post. However, the question of safety is being brought to light. Mejia, however, says the base has been inspected and approved for inhabitancy.
Basically, it's not a big base, and the BDF had like about 12 people there, so we expect to have that same amount there. And we're calling on Belizeans, who want the experience, who want to go down there to volunteer. It's a volunteer thing, Belize Territorial Volunteers. It's all about volunteering for our country. And anybody who wants to go there can contact me through my WhatsApp or Facebook or through our Facebook group, and we could fit them in. But for this weekend, we have enough people. But in the future, we will, like I said, we will continue to go down there, and we'll be continuing to take volunteers. The reason for abandoning the base was because of the erosion. We have taken 2 different engineers there who have walked in and outside of the buildings and who have certified that the building is safe enough to host humans. I mean, it's got a good foundation. Water is under it. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you can have a presence on the base, and we will have a presence on the base because it's very important for Belize to establish a presence on the Sarsstoon River.
First patrol in the area has been set for July 8th, and Mejia is inviting Belizeans to join in the efforts to defend Belize's sovereign integrity.
It will work as we go by. That will, develop. Our system will fall into place. But our main objective is to have a presence there. And that's why we're calling on other volunteers from around the country who wants to come down, and we're calling on also the businesses and whoever can help, because it does cost money. It costs fuel, and we have people who donate their boats to do the job. So fuel is our biggest expense. So we would appreciate if anybody wants to donate fuel to the cause. Fuel is our biggest cost, and we need fuel for us to operate. So if you have, you're listening and want to make a contribution with fuel, please let us know. My cell is 610-0978, or WhatsApp or Facebook, and let's make this happen. It's not about the volunteers, it's about Belize. It's about having a presence on the Sarsstoon. It's about the social, political, and economic benefit that come as a result of us being on the Sarsstoon, being on the river, curbing the illegal fishing and the illegal hunting that takes place in the area.
The Redistricting Task Force has presented a report to the Elections and Boundaries Commission. That document is complete with proposals for how Belize's electoral landscape should look. But serious concerns are today being raised by members of both major political parties, particularly by leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, who has gone on record to voice his concerns. In speaking with the media today, Will Mejia, who forms part of the Belize Progressive Party, also spoke on the ongoing process, which was first raised by the BPP and its members.
We feel like the way it's going, it's not going fair. The proposal that has come out so far, we see a lot of gerrymandering taking place in there. We at the Belize Progressive Party, we are calling on the government and the people who sit on the commission, the Elections and Boundaries Commission, to take politics out of it, make voting fair for all Belizeans, not just for political parties or who's in there. Let's have real democracy. Let's make it fair so that people want to go out and vote. As it is right now, it's not cutting it. And what we've seen so far is basically, in our opinion, insulting to the Belizean public. We hear the leader of the opposition out there crying like a baby about the redistricting. He should have been doing this 10 or 15 years ago. In fact, his government, at the time, he should have been talking to his government to do the redistricting, because at that time, he also knew that it was not fair across the board. Voting was not fair in this country. So instead of just crying now when he get the joke, he should have been doing this a long time ago. So, but, that's him and his crying, but we need the Elections and Commission Elections and Boundaries Commission to really think about Belize and Belizeans as they carry out this redistricting exercise and really stop the gerrymandering. What we've seen so far, lots of gerrymandering taking place that need to stop.
Coming up next, Corozal Town Council launches annual summer camp. Stay tuned.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
School is out for the next 2 months, and that means that students of all ages will have lots of free time on their hands. With that in mind, the mayor of Corozal Town and his councillors have organized their annual summer program, which kicked off today. Today we spoke to Mayor Veos, who gave us a breakdown as to how the 60-plus students who applied for the program will benefit from the activities planned.
This morning we're here at Central Park, where we gathered with approximately 60 young people, students who enrolled in our summer program that we normally have every year. What happens here is that we enroll 60 students and they go out and they do community service. At the end of the week, they get a small stipend. They work from Monday to Thursday for half day, and on Friday what we do, we meet with them and we have a talk with them. We normally get places like Belize Youth Services, Labor Department, who come and educate them, give them some very educational information to our young people and try to motivate them also. You know? So on Monday to Thursday, they go out and do community service, and on Friday, we meet as a group for us to have the talk with them. This year, it's a bit bigger than last year when it comes to the amount of students who enroll. And I'm very glad that we managed to reach out to as much as possible. You know, I want to thank those people who have helped us to achieve this great initiative for our young people. I know for them it means a lot. For the parents, it means a lot. They get the chance to meet other students, to interact, to build new experience. They get an opportunity to do some community service. And we all know that when you're a part of some type of work, you learn to appreciate it, you know, and you show example. So with that, they also get a small stipend that I am sure will go a long way for them. You know, every summer we have kids having to buy a new tennis, a school bag, books for school, pay a little tuition. So it will go a long way, and for us, this is how we give back to our community, how we interact with our young people, how we encourage them, how we teach them to be hard-working citizens. You know, so that's the opportunity that we're going to have for at least 3 weeks in Corozal Town, and I am glad that the Corozal Town Council can once again achieve it.
The program will run consecutively for 3 weeks. Joining the cause this year is the Corozal Free Zone Management, the Embassy of Taiwan in Belize, and other business in Corozal Town. The government of Belize has once more reinstated its position on the definitive agreement. In a release, GOB officially announced their decision to terminate the UDP-Puerto Rico definitive agreement. This agreement had been established under the former UDP administration. Prime Minister John Briceño shared this decision during a House of Representatives meeting held on June 16, 2023. As stated in the press release, the UDP-Puerto Rico definitive agreement, authorized and executed in 2020, was not fulfilling the best interests of Belize's citizens. This significant decision was the result of comprehensive discussions within the cabinet and advice received from internationally recognized legal experts. Despite this decision, the press release emphasized the government's recognition of the key strategic stakeholders' importance to the project. It read, recognizing the standing of key strategic stakeholders such as the Royal Caribbean Group, a global leader among cruise lines, and Boskalis, a world-class dredging company, the cabinet decided that the government should negotiate or develop a new agreement with these parties. The focus of this agreement should be transparency and the prioritization of Belize's citizens' best interest. On June 23, 2023, the Royal Caribbean Group underscored its commitment to Belize's economy, promising to significantly address the current shortcomings in the country's cruise infrastructure and contribute more substantially to Belize's tourism industry. In response to this commitment, the GOB press release expressed a positive outlook. It noted the government is inspired by this continuous commitment as it strives to enhance Belize's citizens' economic opportunities and quality of life. This will be done by fostering investments that underpin long-term, sustainable human development. The press release also confirmed that all future cruise port agreements will undergo a thorough evaluation and must receive approval from both the Cabinet and the House of Representatives. The press release concluded with a firm declaration. This transparent procedure stands in stark contrast to the previous administration's obscured and discreditable UDP-Puerto Rico definitive agreement. The government and the people of Taiwan have shared good ties with Belize. Both countries have benefited tremendously from the relationship. Recently, the Minister of National Defense and Border Security, along with his Chief Executive Officer, Dario Tapia, and Commandant of the Belize Coast Guard, Elton Bennett, returned home over the weekend from a programmed visit to Taiwan. Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Christopher Koi, and a representative from Kaiwe joined in the official visit. Together, the Belizean delegation attended many meetings, including one with the Ocean Affairs Council in Taiwan, the governing body for the Taiwanese Coast Guard. The main focus of discussion was defense engagement and opportunities available for Belize in relation to the acquisition of supplies and equipment, including specialized training.
We're looking at opportunities for shipbuilding, and Taiwan offered that to us. So we had the opportunity to look at two shipyards, one in particular that we were very, very interested in. So we had the opportunity to look at what technologies are available on the platform and look at its suitability for our missions. And so we'll be continuing that discussion with that shipyard in Taiwan as a highly likely candidate to construct patrol boats for the Belize Coast Guard in the very near future.
And the second?
The second one, we had the opportunity to look at UAVs, unmanned air vehicles, which is something that the Belize Coast Guard is also pursuing. As a matter of fact, we're looking at a very close timeline. We're looking at by the end of this year, the Belize Coast Guard should have acquired at least two unmanned air vehicles for operational purposes in our marine spaces. And then next year, we're pre-approved as well funds to purchase two additional UAVs. So it's a program that starts now. So we had the opportunity to look at what's available in Taiwan, look at the different technology and to see its suitability again for our operational purposes. You have to appreciate that our needs are very different from the terrestrial needs in terms of it being marine grade and for maritime surveillance purposes. And so we're very excited about what we saw in Taiwan as well, and we will continue those discussions. As a matter of fact, tonight I have a meeting with one of the companies to further those discussions. So very, very productive. From a technical perspective, I think it was a very productive session. So I know that the minister had opportunities to speak with his opposite number in Taiwan. Some classified, but some that I'm sure will be made available to the public, the different engagements that we had.
There is no doubt Taiwan has become Belize's closest ally in the development of the country in all sectors, including education. This was formalized at the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding last year. And through that agreement, 4 members of the Belize Coast Guard currently find themselves in Taiwan furthering their studies, which will undeniably enhance the operations and functions of the BCG.
4 Coast Guard officers in Taiwan on long-term courses. We're looking at 5 years, some of these programs. We have 1 senior officer there as well, Lieutenant Commander Alma Pinello, who's there for a year and a half. She returns in August. But this visit really offers more than those 2 programs that we are currently benefiting from. The Ocean Affairs Council offers a broad area in terms of marine science and research, a lot of conservation, education. The Belize Coast Guard is very interested in. But what's very important here is that what the Ocean Affairs Council in Taiwan has to offer is broader than just the Belize Coast Guard. So in turn, we'll be able to offer some of these opportunities to the different maritime sector in Belize, the Port Authority, the Fisheries Department, etc. All of those maritime-focused agencies will be able to benefit through this MOU and tap into that very, very crucial agency or ministry that exists in Taiwan.
And while the meetings in Taiwan translated to positive news for Belize, the Belize Coast Guard also made announcement of the recruitment exercise, whose deadline is coming up on July 14, 2023. It is noticeable to mention that no new seamen have been added to the existing numbers for the past 4 years, and this year the BCG is hoping to add at least 60 men and women to join the ranks of the Naval Military Unit. To apply, there are certain requirements. For one, you must have at least a high school diploma, be in excellent physical condition, and be able to swim. This year, the selecting committee seeks to reel in applicants who are technology savvy, since the Coast Guard is expanding its operations.
We are recruiting at this time. We are looking for Belizeans between the ages of 18 and 26, high school level education. You'll be required to come and sit the recruiting exam, which is an academic exam, but also a physical exam that includes a swimming test. So you must be able to swim. You must be a Belizean national, a clean police record, and willing to serve your country. So you apply online. The information is there. The deadline for application is the 14th of July. Once we receive those applications, we'll be doing screening. This is a very important part of keeping the organization integrity intact by doing these vetting from the early stages. So we'll be screening and then inviting you to come and sit the recruiting drive here. And then hopefully, if you make it, you form up on the 2nd of September with the intent of going through recruit training, graduating the 28th of November, and then joining the organization as a seaman. The minimum requirements is a high school diploma. Of course, we have people with associate's degree, we have people with bachelor's degree coming at that level. So we're looking at obviously people who are physically fit, but we're also looking for talent in all aspects of Coast Guard functions. We're looking for people that are technically capable of fitting into the Coast Guard modernization strategy, which, as I mentioned earlier on, we're looking at operating unmanned air vehicles. So we're looking at people that are technically capable of moving the organization forward in those technical areas. We're looking at people who can do a broad range of duties, from marines, research, and technology in the maritime field, public relations as well. So there are different areas that we are looking for talent in to really fit into the organization and help us to move forward.
Persons interested can obtain an application online and belong to an admirable arm of Belize's security forces. Belize participated in a regional workshop hosted by the Regional Conference on Migration (RCM) in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration (IOM) and the International Labour Organization (ILO) in Panama City on June 28th and 29th. The delegation included Mr. Valentino Schall, Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, and Local Government, Mrs. Risela Dominguez Pat, Labor Commissioner, Mrs. Ida Reyes, Senior Labor Officer, and Ms. Laureen Pott, Port Commander, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, and Immigration. The conference focused on the exchange of experiences regarding migrant workers, domestic and agricultural work, and circular migration. The RCM aims to strengthen member countries' regional and bilateral cooperation actions to ensure orderly, safe, and regular mobility. It also aims to promote greater collaboration and understanding among participating countries by providing a platform for the exchange of information on best practices, lessons learned, and advancing the protection of human and labor rights of migrant workers. While at the workshop, Belizean delegates met with representatives of the governments of Costa Rica and Panama to exchange strategies and engage in productive discussions on best practices such as the labor migratory traceability system, which is based on a binational agreement between Costa Rica and Panama. This conference's expected outcomes are intended to shape policies, practices, and initiatives that to support migrant workers throughout the region and further enable member countries to implement effective measures to combat exploitation, ensure fair working conditions, and improve migrant workers' overall quality of life. Finally, the RCM, IOM, and ILO reiterate their commitment to collaborating closely with member countries to address the complex issues surrounding migration. The organizations anticipate a regional framework that prioritizes human dignity, labor rights, and social inclusion by encouraging regional dialogue and cooperation. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, July 5th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.